recording. So we discussed Noob Saibot, a little bit about Frost. What about the newbies?
So what? There's Collector. There was
I don't know how to pronounce the other name.
Cetrion, I think. Is what they're
Cetrion?
calling her. It sounds really awkward, like a mouthful. I wonder if that's a code name or something.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much is known about them other than their two little screenshots.
Yeah.
So.
I keep hearing. I've heard of the Collector, but I mean, I'm not very good with my MK lore, but I don't know who the fuck the Collector is.
He's got no previous history. My instinct is that he's something of a assistant to Chronica somehow. I don't know.
Maybe, or he could be some sort of like third party, some objective sort of like protagonist or something. We'll see where he like ends up in the story.
Yeah, maybe.
There was like another leak, some stuff on like GameFAQs or something talking about both Cetrion and Collector, which described exactly how they look, and that was, a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Like describing him as like blue skin with like elf-like features, and he looks like something from like Avatar.
Looks like a Smeagol.
Like a Smeagol.
Common consensus. He's supposed to be part cybernetic, multiple arms.
Multiple arms? What?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And an elf-looking like thing with multiple arms. That's unlike anything I've ever seen.
And Cetrion's supposed to be like plant-based.
Plant-based?
Oh, we're gonna get plant people now?
Are they gonna turn you into fertilizer? Their fatality or what?
Oh man, imagine if there was like tag team and they could like photosynthesize with Kotal Khan.
Cetrion wins osmosis.
Osmosis? I don't. Wait, what?
Oh wait, I meant photosynthesis.
I ain't no botanist. I don't think that's how it works.
I need to stop making science jokes about things I don't know.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Osmosis Jones is DLC.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I remember it being kind of good.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I have heard it is pretty good actually.
I heard somebody bring up the point earlier today about how Injustice is kind of like the testing grounds for things that just end up being implemented into Mortal Kombat, whether it's interactables or, the first Injustice was the first time NRS had really done kind of like a big-bodied sort of like grappler character, the way they did with like Doomsday and Bane.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we had something like Ferritor and MKX. So Cetrion could be like something that they were kind of like working out with, things they've learned or other ideas they had for like Poison Ivy or
okay. Interesting.
maybe something like that.
I definitely think that's a valid theory.
I like theories. Theories are good.
I mean, because like if you do kind of look at the timeline, like I would say that this era of games kind of started with MK versus DCU, and you could definitely see that in MK9 it seemed like they took elements from that and were kind of polishing it up.
Yeah, that game was so bad. MK versus DC. Did you guys play it at all?
I did. It was not the best.
It was so bad. You could pretty much
Midway game. But that was like the introduction to Warner Brothers, right? And they obviously have had a relationship ever since.
Yeah.
Or when NRS was just going to splinter off, and I wonder if they were kind of like in a dilemma, right? Well, do we just close shop or we just try to do our own thing? And then they had the Warner Brothers connections, and then when they started their own studio, they had a publisher.
Well, what happened was Midway filed for bankruptcy, and
Oh, did Warner Brothers buy them?
Warner Brothers was the only one that bid on them. If Warner Brothers didn't bid on Midway, then Mortal Kombat might not even still exist to this day. So I'm assuming they probably got it for super, super cheap because they were the only ones that bid. But which is interesting to me. I wonder why they were the only ones that.
Right?
People just maybe because their games always got bad reviews because like the last probably 4 years of Midway was just them really just pushing out games as fast as they could to try and make enough money to save the company.
Right.
So maybe at that point,
And they probably saw the potential with that, right? Warner Brothers, it was unlike anything else. Obviously, Mortal Kombat's kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
with the gratuitous sort of like gore and already had a really established lore and all that sort of stuff. And it was an opportunity to reboot the franchise to kind of do things the right way, I guess, maybe.
I
Instead of
did
just
question how that
cranking out games.
conversation went, though. Like, because I could see Midway or Warner Brothers probably saw the potential, like, oh, we can make like a DC fighting game. But I mean, like, were they kind of like, can we add Mortal Kombat characters? Like, all right,
Yeah.
I guess you can do your nerd shit. Just don't kill Batman and all of our family-friendly characters, okay?
Oh God. I really would like to see a DC character in Mortal Kombat. I think there's lots of them that would fit in quite perfectly.
I mean, Deadshot,
Deadshot, yeah.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
Even like all the other properties and stuff that they own. Like I think Constantine would be fine. Lobo.
Oh yeah. Lobo
Swamp
wouldn't give
Thing
a
in a
fuck.
Mortal Kombat game. Jesus.
Yeah, it just adds more to their character, right? That would be a big shocker if they did do that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm sure that, like, I'm not a big comic reader, but I'm sure that characters have died in pretty brutal ways in their comics.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sure, they've got like the more. I don't think they want to release a. I don't think. Obviously, those are for a very particular demographic. The more violent sort of DC thing, and the animated, films that they've done Under the Red Hood and all of the others that were made for like our generation, people that grew up with it but are adults now and want something a little bit more adult themed and aren't going to be offended by swears or have to worry about things like that. So I don't know what's really stopping them. You always hear the kind of trope that they don't want their characters doing fatalities or fatalities performed on them, and I could understand that for like maybe like Batman and the Flash and things like that, but
Yeah, I mean, for evil characters that like that's their thing that they do. Like, I'd love to see some dark side fatalities. It'd be so cool.
For characters like even like Lobo, have you ever read a Lobo comic? Like,
I wish I did.
where
I've only seen him in like 52, where he was hanging out with that dolphin.
well, right. So it would be weird if he wasn't doing stuff like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Lobo with the dolphin assist.
Dolphin assist.
Nah, dude, he's traveling through space. He's like a weird space pope with the dolphin.
A weird space pope with a dolphin.
Yeah. He like becomes some religious figure. It was kind of weird.
Huh. That's New 52 was the reboot, right? Where they
Well, no, this was in the 52 event.
Oh.
Yeah, so they released a comic every week of the year, and it's a really good event because it really highlights a lot of the B roster characters.
Right.
Or was there a chance to retcon everything, right?
Yeah, well, I was actually talking to
Was it
Frostfight,
Jeff Jones thing, I think.
Obadiah Stone about this. That he was saying that that's like the difference between the Marvel and the DC comics. Is like DC comics, the New 52 and further is pretty much like you can get caught up to speed on the universe, whereas the Marvel one you have to go like all the way back to like the beginning to really get caught up on things.
More or less, yeah.
Because it was like a hard reboot. They every book, every
With like the exclusion of Green Lantern and Batman, almost everything changed.
Well, yeah, those are two pretty well.
they kept
Batman
some things
for sure,
intact,
but
they still had their own New 52 like
Oh,
sort of series. It wasn't just completely overhauled, like completely scrapped and rebuilt.
Interesting. Anyways, enough about comic books. Let's get back
Not about comics.
to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we gotta stay on track.
That's old men just rambling.
Back in my day, our fighting games didn't have DLC. You got 15 characters and you were happy. We loved it.
I sort of feel that way with a lot of people just saying that they're going to like not buy the game, which I mean that's your prerogative, right? Or just people are just so self-entitled. My character or everyone's gonna hear about it. It's just it goes into. Dink and I got some shit for talking about this in that MK9 video that we made about like I'm just happy to have a fucking game. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to complain, but
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus,
like
the levels of self-entitlement, like waste of rosters, and why would they do this? So Jackie, right? I guess that might be a good segue to, like,
yes,
Jackie being in there. What a waste of a slot. It's like, you don't know shit about what she's gonna be like.
Yeah.
Like, you want to play this game, you're looking forward to this game, but you don't trust the devs to, like, do it. Like, it's like people fucking trying to crowdsource a reboot of The Last Jedi because they hated the way that it was written or something. Like, that's your prerogative, but what a futile effort. Like, and it just turns in, like, these movements of, like, it does go to the old man. Back in my day, yeah, you just kind of, like,
you had your
feedback,
screenshots,
give your criticism, but this it's like telling a, like,
yeah, there's some
like
points
a Christian
where
that God doesn't exist or something, and people go fucking crazy about it. Just they lose their minds.
Yeah.
Like, chill, deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
for
like
sure. Some people like act very childish in regards to it.
yeah, it's too, like, I get being critical of what you're seeing as gameplay and stuff like that, but I mean, the game hasn't even been released yet. Look how many changes they made already, right? So it's like people are complaining about a version of the game that's not even the final version of the game before the game's even released.
Yeah.
It's like, like, holy crap.
Yeah, they look like shit. These characters, like, you're seeing something that wasn't even meant to be, like, in the public eye. Like, obviously things look like everyone railing on Sonya's face and all of that sort of stuff, even at the reveal event. It's like, were you not paying attention the last couple times that they've done this? We know that stuff refines over time. We're seeing something that's pre-release. This is not the final product.
Yeah, Supergirl looks freaking awful.
So hung up on things like that. Like, do you really think that, especially in this day and age, with the WB backing and the kind of technology and the money that they're putting in these games now, do you think that NRS, they're the types that are like, you know what, good enough. You know what, fuck it. Let's just, you know, no.
They put so much effort into their games, which is another thing that, like, you know, that's obviously makes that leak thing, you know, even worse. But you know, we already talked about that. So,
I mean, yeah, I mean that part.
But what about part 2 of the conversation? No, I'm just kidding.
Bringing it back. So let's continue to go with Jackie. So, Jackie's back in the game. Apparently, unless I am totally blind or just my memory sucks, there's no Takeda or Kungjin.
That's true.
So those two got completely.
Jackie, we got the girls, no boys.
Interesting choice.
It's clearly an attack on men.
I liked Cassie because she was a smartass.
Yeah, I don't.
That's her only redeeming quality. I didn't really care for. I know Shiro plays her.
I like she has some awesome dialogue, and I can't wait to see some of her intros in the game. What I didn't like about Cassie, and I've mentioned this before, is that, like, her personality, like, in game, is so different from her personality in story mode. Like, in story mode, she's just kind of like, what the fuck, like, trying to be like a bit of a hard ass to, like, her friends and stuff, and then, like, in the game, she's just cracking jokes every 2 seconds.
She gets all the jokes that they couldn't fit into Johnny's intros.
Pretty much.
Which is fine, because I love some good shit talking, right? Like,
yeah, it's great.
I think she's funny. I'm amused by her for sure. So I wouldn't have been heartbroken if she wasn't included, but I'm not mad that she's in. Jackie, this goes into, I have faith that they have some sort of video. Have you seen her concept art that's in MKX?
No.
Or any of the other kind of, like, pre-designed?
Well, maybe I did, but, like, it would have been years ago now.
Well, yeah, just go to the collection part of your menu in MKX, and you can see, like, the character viewer, and you get all the concept art. Go look at what Jackie's designs look like.
Okay.
And then what we ended up with, which was a girl with braids and BDUs, just like a regular kind of just generic military person. They had so many cool ideas. Like, some of it looks like really Mad Max.
Oh, nice.
So
I feel like they didn't really develop her much as a character either in the storyline, other than just being
kind of
she really didn't do much in the story.
Other than being Jax's daughter. That's about it.
I feel like they wanted the combat kids. They wanted the older characters to kind of, like, retire, right? They wanted to pass the torch. They needed these new characters. They built this whole story around it, and then we're like, well, that didn't work. Like, they either weren't as popular or, and I'll admit, like, I didn't really like any of them. I hear a lot of complaints about them. Takeda and Kungjin, good riddance. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I didn't really care too much for that either.
Personality wise, play them. If you like their play style, that's, like, fine or whatever. But if If you're gonna
character-wise.
tell me with a straight face that you were watching the story, and any of those characters made you go "fuck yeah," then you're a liar. I don't
Yeah.
believe you.
Totally. And I mean, how can you try and replace two characters that have been involved in the game since the very, very first Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
And just like, all right, well, they're not here anymore. Here, they're kids. See ya.
I
Like-
mean, Takeda with the whips and stuff, that would be really cool to see, like, in this game and that sort of, like, thing. And maybe he'll be DLC or something like that, but
Yeah.
the dude was as interesting as a fucking shoebox with a rat that's dead in it. 'Cause you forgot to poke air holes.
Yeah, like it's always very difficult in fighting games to try and bring in a new generation of characters. Like that was one of the reasons why the vanilla version of like Street Fighter 3 was just real bad. But I think it's totally
Soul Calibur 5?
possible. Yeah.
Oh, that was a
that's not
disaster. That was actually the first game I ever played with Soul Calibur, so it was
Yeah,
cool to me coming in, but I could definitely see why people were mad, especially when you just like blatantly reskin characters.
Oh yeah. You know, like they're just clones, but like in a different costume. You know, because there's, you know, in fighting games, people love being able to see their characters come back. And now with Mortal Kombat, I think it can be done right, but in the narrative, I feel like the narrative really only gave chances for Cassie and Kung Jin. I don't
Right.
really think Jackie and Takeda had any spotlight time to really shine or show kind of who they are.
Takeda had his little, like, daddy issues thing, right? His little scene
that is
flashback of training with
true.
Scorpion. Jackie didn't have shit.
No,
Yeah.
she really didn't. Like, I don't know. She had a chapter to herself, didn't she? But it was all just like her trying to
It was when
rescue.
they were already in the forest, right? When Outworld kind of...
Yeah, so it was like, here's like
Yeah.
4 fights back to back with very little dialogue. There you go. There's your Jackie chapter.
Right, learn the stinky leg in 45 seconds.
Learn the stink-
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Did you learn it? Did you learn it? Yeah.
So
I
maybe
forgot about that
they'll
one.
do right by her, right? Like they've got other good ideas. Everything that we've seen
I can
so far,
only hope personally.
I cannot imagine them like. This is why I'm so excited for Frost. I like female characters in general, anyway. I really like Sub-Zero, and I kind of want to play like a female Cryomancer, especially after seeing Johnny Cage. Right? All we've heard from Sub-Zero are just terrible fucking puns. He has
Right.
no personality whatsoever. Like, and he's got a dumb fucking hat. Like,
Oh, I
I'm
hate
not
that hat.
excited to play. I'm not excited to play like his persona. I'm not
Do
like.
you mean to tell me you don't think his hat is cool?
I'm not.
Whoa.
Oh, exactly. What, how Sub-Zero of you to say something like that? Like, it's just so
These are
compared to
jokes.
like what we're
They
seeing
were
with other
jokes passed
characters.
down
It's
the
not doing
way.
much for me. So, I'm excited for Frost in particular. She's like one of my. I think we should end this podcast and knowing what we know now and kind of like pick our like top 5, similar to like what Honeybee and Biohazard did. If you saw that video earlier.
Like who? Like top 5, like most powerful.
Yeah,
like
like
OP
now that we know the
tier list?
roster, who are you the most interested in on a scale from like pick like a top 3 and then you've got a couple kind of like toss-ups or something.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Hmm.
We should give it to
I was
the
gonna
best
say.
roster
I was gonna say.
first.
Could you post the picture of the?
You
have it?
real quick, hater. Did you see the that picture of Melina that's floating around?
No.
Okay,
Is it the
hold-
one where she's got really, really big boobs that someone just photoshopped into the little like customizer render thing?
No, it's not. Hold on, it's not on my computer. It's on my phone. I'll just put it in the Discord real quick. Hold on, give me a second.
Because she's rumored to be unlockable. Bad Boo did say something about bringing secret characters back, and that's what some of those extra slots are.
So it's
So-
only the 2 characters that are unlockable, apparently, according to the leak.
I heard 3.
3.
So we've got the roster, and it's got 9 blank spaces. We know 6 of them are for that first combat pack. So we've got 3 extra ones, and some of those leaks that were floating around before had like Shinnok in there as like a base roster thing. Oh yeah, and then 2 unlockables, which are rumored to be Shang Tsung and Melina at this point.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
I have not seen. Well, I don't think so. Anyway.
I'm going
I have
to
not seen that.
put it up
Dude.
on.
Is that real?
Oh.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, is that like an actual image, or like is that just like some cosplay or something?
I have not seen that. That looks.
Like, I really like it,
awesome.
honestly, but
Oh
yeah,
my god,
I don't think it's terrible. That looks.
that makes me want to play Melina. If she doesn't have that busted ass ball roll, that's what like just. Dude, when I first joined this Discord and I was playing like Supergirl and I was playing Catwoman, and once I started like playing with other people, like really learning how to play the game,
yeah,
the whole hater story, if I had an autobiography, that's what made me drop those characters. Like fighting against them was so enraging, I just couldn't even fucking handle it. It totally soured them to me, and I didn't even want to play as them. And the same thing happened to me with Melina. Like, she's one of my favorites and has been since she was introduced in Mortal Kombat 2. And MKX just ruined her for me. She's so maddening to play against. So if she doesn't have stupid bullshit in MK11, I'll probably give her a good go, because I like her a lot. If this picture is any indication, if this is real,
like,
this makes me very excited.
I really like this image of Melina. Like, I feel like her, like, I like that they kept the way that she has lips and stuff, but I feel like they did it way better than they did in MKX. Like, her lips look like huge.
That's got some filters on it to make it look like it's on a monitor.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Like, I'm looking at it and it looks like that is an amazing job if this is a render. But I don't know, just something about it just looks like it's like a cosplay picture with a with a filter,
like just filters and stuff
over it. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting though.
The detail of the teeth, where the teeth meet the face, I could see this being just kind of a Photoshop to try to make it look real, but she is rumored to be an unlockable character. Her and Shang Tsung.
So what do you think? Like, why are they unlockable characters and not like main roster or DLC? Like, what do you think? Is it about these characters that makes them special to the point of being unlockable?
Back, man. Like back in the day, the old games where you could unlock characters, or there were characters that you had to do certain things to like unlock them, like Reptile and Noob and stuff. Like way back. I think it's like a throwback to that, and that sort of, it's almost like an achievement, and your reward is a whole nother fucking character.
How do you think?
My theory would be it adds replay value to it.
Like, and in Mortal Kombat 9, you had the Challenge Tower. And if you beat the Challenge Tower, then you got that special skin from Melina, the Flesh Pit skin.
Yeah, the Flesh Pit's little gauze, if you want to even call that a outfit.
Yeah. Showing as much as they can. Showing as much as they can.
Yeah, so, covered her nipples and like half of her butt, and that was it.
And somehow, oddly against gravity, her vajayjay, which was really weird. But so I wonder, like, do you just got to complete the story mode to get both those characters, or like, is there gonna be like a separate challenge or a number of towers, or is it like something super secret they're not even gonna tell you?
So in Injustice 2, you beat the story mode to unlock Brainiac, and in MKX, you beat the story mode to unlock Shinnok, both the big bads. It's already been confirmed that Kronika is not going to be a playable character. I'm wondering if she's not going to be the last boss. It's going to be, she's going to have a part in the story, like she's manipulating events, but she's really not like, she's obviously an antagonist and she's driving this whole narrative.
But not necessarily like a boss character.
I don't think she's going to, she may not have moves, she may not have, you know, she's just... And maybe that's where some of this other stuff is coming in. Who even knows? I want this game to come out. I'm dying of, like, with the leaks and everything else, like, I just need to know what's happening. I'm so tired of just all the, like, so many pieces of the puzzle, and I have no way to, like, put them together.
A lot of anticipation, yeah.
It gives me anxiety. It's really bad. Ugh.
You can get a prescription for that.
All I want to do, I bought like Dead or Alive 6 or whatever to try to like pass the time and at least play something. I played the demo, I thought it was cool, and it's like, I don't want to play anything besides Mortal Kombat 11. I just can't even think about, like, every time I pick up my controller, like,
Totally, man. We were supposed to talk about this on the Twitch, but I totally forgot about that. That reminds me that the Dead or Alive 6 season pass, I saw a screenshot today, is $123.
Canadian dollars.
Yeah,
it's
Canadian.
Like $99.96 or something US.
$92.99.
$92.99. Jeez, what, for 2 characters? And like
is that really it?
Outfits. Two characters and a bunch of...
2 characters and a fuck ton of outfits.
Like, this season pass thing is just going, like, way too far. And it's like, Every freaking month, my son's like, "Can I get the Fortnite Battle Pass season pass?" And I'm like, I swear I just bought it for you. He's like, "That was season 7." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like this is like the free-to-play model that a lot of like MMOs had started going to and things like that, to where they make their money through microtransactions instead of you just spending the $60 up front and stuff. But
Which
when
is
you're
like
spending $60
I was gonna
for a
say,
base
it's
game
funny
already.
you mentioned free to play because let's wind the clock a bit.
Yeah.
DOA5 last round, same business model with DOA5. The season passes were about $90 to $100. Same thing. Maybe you might get a character, but pretty much like the costumes. And the
must
thing
be
is,
okay with that then, right? Like they
I mean,
wouldn't
they
do it
did it
again
for
if it didn't
years.
work for them. Yeah.
They did it for years. Like, I mean, DOA5 originally came out like, shit, it was like 2010, 2011. I kind of want to Google it real quick.
I think it was 2011 because when I went to, or no, maybe 2012, because there was a Canada Cup that I went to and they had just released, and I was supposed to play in that tournament, but I got way too drunk and slept in.
So it was 2012. So it came out in 2012, and they stopped supporting it either in 2017 or 2018. So for about 5 or 6 years, they were doing the season pass model for it, and people bought it. Yeah, so it's definitely not new for their marketing. If you do add up the math, buying a la carte, the season pass is still the better deal.
Right.
Also, with Dead or Alive 5, when they did go to the final version last round, they did move it to a free to play model. It was core fighters, so you could download the base characters like for free, but if you wanted to get the costumes and stuff like that, then you had to buy the license for the game. So
I tell you what, if Mortal Kombat 11 can last 5 or 6 years, and the cost of that is buying a pack like this for $100 every so often for a couple extra characters and some gear, then I'd be all over that.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea either. I mean, I didn't realize that they eventually went to a free to play system either.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one thing I'll give DOA. I will admit, I feel DOA gets a lot of shit. I feel like there's some praise that they should deserve, because I'm actually playing DOA6 right now, and the fighting system is pretty good. Like,
Who do you
as
play?
a game itself,
What character?
Tina, because she best represents my country, Texas.
Everyone.
My country,
shut
Texas.
The butt throw. Every video I see almost is on Tina. Like
I
when
love
Tina.
Tina.
People.
I've used her since like 2.
Is Sarah in that game?
Does not sound
She
familiar.
was.
She was
no virtual fighter character.
Yeah, she was a guest character in DOA5. That's the only reason I played her in DOA5, because like my friend Jimmy Potato was playing the game and wanted someone to train with, and I was like, well, I play virtual fighter, so I mean I'll play Sarah, I guess. Made the most sense to me, but I'm sad that sounds like that franchise has ended, the virtual fighter. That was such a solid franchise.
That way, sadly. Like, part of me was hoping that with no virtual fighter characters being in DOA6, that it might mean they're making a new one, but I don't know. Nothing's been announced yet.
I think we're getting derailed again. Don't we have more Mortal Kombat characters?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyways, I wanted to touch on that DOA6 thing for that. That's interesting, because one last comment I wanted to put on it is, like, I don't mind like the little microtransaction here or there if the game is free to play, or if I'm like getting a shitload of, like, for MK or for Injustice 2, for example. I think I bought some source crystals once just to support it for how often I played the game. Shit like that.
Yeah.
But like, if you're doing like a $60 game and then like a $90 season pass and then like, I don't know, a bunch of shit after that, it
It's
gets
a hard pill to swallow.
yeah, it kind of seems like a slap in the face, right? So I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So
DOA fans are very like supportive of their game, though.
They seem passionate. Yeah. You're right. So who have we not talked about so far out of the leaked roster?
Cassie. No. I think it was already confirmed. She was confirmed. She was going to be it.
Yeah, I don't
She was
think
at the behind the scenes video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone.
Collector.
I need to Google the thing. Goog. MK11 leaked poster images. Okay, here's the really. Here's the poop. Frost needs hair.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure. So we haven't talked about Aaron Black yet.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yo, you notice how Aaron Black doesn't have the mask?
So that's exactly what
That's
led
weird.
me to that when you said that she didn't have. You boys need to do your homework.
Yeah.
Sounds like the gear is missing from a lot of these in this
Yeah.
build. Like Scarlet has
I
her
see.
mask, Scorpion has her mask or his mask, but nobody else seems to have anything that's equipable. Like Cabal's missing his mask, Sub-Zero's missing his mask, Jade's missing her mask. So
Right.
sounds
So you
like
just-
her token, her trademark little icicle hair or whatever is probably going to be an equipable gear piece.
Can you imagine
Aaron
how
Black-
many cool
Black
different
Smith.
hairstyles you could have with like ice hair?
Dude, I want like ice, sort of like
Medusa.
really long, flowing, like really thin ice or something.
Ooh, that'd be cool. You're on thin
Give
ice.
Frost, because she's always had like the short lady hair, because they've always been like these really thick icicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So it'd be that would be neat, and have it like maybe they drip water because they're melting. You know, I don't know.
They can't make her bald. There's just no way. There's no way.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Who would play a bald Frost, honestly? Especially with like gear and stuff.
I played Veronica if she was playable.
That sounds like Quan Chi.
Some people can do it. There's been some, people that have pulled off the shaved head, females with shaved head sorts of things, like Natalie
Sinead
Portman V for
O'Connor.
Vendetta, and
Oh yeah, that's true.
Sigourney Weaver and
Alien 3. Yeah.
and
I sometimes like to forget that
Demi
movie.
Moore and G.I. Jane and Charlize Theron and Mad Max.
Oh yeah, Furiosa. Yo.
I-
That's a good movie.
Oh man, I
I
need to watch
think-
more movies.
The way that they can articulate faces now and still kind of have that femininity, like the way that they build the faces and not make them look so masculine if they don't have any hair, I think they could pull it off.
Yeah,
Veronica kind of looks like a baby, like a bald baby right now. But,
yeah, she really does.
She's a girl.
She really
baby.
does.
but that's, again, I'll attribute that to probably like
Devora.
pre-release sort of like stuff. She'll look a lot better.
Man.
Devora, they actually gave hair those weird dread.
Oh yeah.
I don't like her look at all. I don't like what they did with Devora, but
I love what
Those-
they did to her face.
Actually, it
looks
was the
disturbing.
face.
She looks
Yeah.
disturbing. She looks monstrous, which I think fits.
She do.
yeah, it fits the character. I mean, maybe once you get some gear going on her, but I like the hoodie thing that she had going on. Like I never played Broodmother because I couldn't deal with the fact that the hoodie wasn't there.
Yep.
Just threw me
I
off
agree.
for some reason.
There's just something about Devora's design that just still kind of just bugs me.
Oh God.
Fired. Disconnect the call.
All right, let me.
Yeah, I'll see myself out.
I'll show myself out.
But if she plays anything like she does in MKX, she'll be really good in this game because she's got that reach from her ovoposters, right? So she fits perfectly in the neutral.
Good mid-range character, yeah.
Not an MKX, they didn't have hurt boxes either. Like her down 2, or down 4, or down 3, forward 2.
Yeah. So you couldn't like counter poke. She would outrange everything.
Yep.
And especially in a game with like MK11. I mean, what's she gonna be like, right? Be interesting to see. That's for sure.
It'd be nice if we had some sort of gameplay. Hopefully
Gameplay.
soon.
Yeah, that too. Definitely that too.
I think that's why people went so crazy with I think we probably talked about this earlier, why people went so crazy with these leaks is we're so starved for information. Like, these combat casts coming out like molasses, and out of the hour they spend like 10 or 15
Really, I feel like
going
the
through
combat cats have been
characters.
coming out like really quickly.
They've had like one a week,
Almost.
or like 8 weeks a week, and they've got a roster of 25 characters.
They just drag on when they have that one lizard-looking guy on them. It's like every second that he's talking is like
What
another
lizard
second I wish I was
looking guy?
listening to. I don't know his name, but
Matt Burke, the guy behind the camera.
no, not him. The other dude. Fuck, I don't know who he is. It's not because there's Tyler. There's
Tyler,
Steve.
Derek, and Steve.
Derek, that guy.
Oh.
Yeah, that dude knows me.
I didn't know that's what you were talking about. That caught me off surprise.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like every time he's on those streams and he opens his mouth, I'm just like, ugh.
He has ADD. I feel
Maybe,
like
maybe that's what it is.
I love that gif of him when he fucked up the sunglasses. That was so funny.
He's definitely like a character. Like I think that he's kind of an acquired taste.
He's
He's a
interesting.
game designer. He's a very talented dude.
Yeah, he does good work. He's a nice guy. I've met him a couple
wasn't-
times.
He did Jade. He worked on Jade. I know he worked on Poison Ivy and then
Maybe he's
Justice
just awkward
2.
in front of a camera. Maybe that's what it is.
I think I don't know. I think he's a better community manager than Tyler would be, honestly. But I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen
It's not
Tyler
really-
be pretty responsive on Reddit, so.
Tyler's like very chummy and things like that too. Like he's a people person. I feel like.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He helped me get a pop bonus for Northwest Majors when I was running it. So
Oh, nice.
Nice.
yeah.
So who
because
is left?
so I'm looking at the roster right now.
Aaron Black.
I think
Did we talk
Oh,
about?
we didn't really
We did talk about it.
Oh, Jax. We didn't talk about Jax. Apparently he's gonna be in it.
oh yeah, Jax. There's no even picture of Jax on this select
Nope,
screen. I'm
no
looking at.
picture.
So I've never been really I've never been too crazy about Jax.
I mean, he's cool, but
He's another one that I just think that they like didn't even for how long he's been around. They haven't like it would have been nice to see a little bit more into his backstory. I mean, I guess I can't say too much on that, I suppose, because I didn't play Special Forces, which was supposed to be like all about him and Sonya, I guess.
That's like their big regret. You ask Ed Boon if they have any regret of if he could choose one game to not release, go back in time and wish out of existence. That's the one he'd pick.
Yeah, I believe that. So, I don't know.
yeah, there's a video about what happened, like with Special Forces. I need to watch that.
I'd like to see. I don't know. That's those characters you don't know much about, like their history, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Like you just know so much about like what they were doing before Mortal Kombat and afterwards, and everything in between. And, like that's where the characters like Jax is like he's just kind of there in the moment. You don't really know much about him. Like I think they mentioned his wife like once in the story mode, something like that.
Farmer. He tried to retire.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to know more about that, you know. But
Would it though?
well, I don't know.
That's my thing with Jax. I don't find him, and I don't play him, so I'm not attached to him like in that way. Not that the characters that I do play have like awesome story moments or anything like that. I think the cinematics for the story mode have gotten like way better, but I don't think the story modes are particularly compelling like in general, like the writing and stuff. I'm
Right.
hyped for this next one, but
I don't know.
I don't.
I fanboy when it comes to the stories. I love them. That when
I
it,
think
when it
Judy's
re-
some
when it real
completionist.
when it releases on release night, I'm gonna stream the whole story mode from start to finish, just to get it out of the way. 'Cause that's
It's
what
gonna be like 6 hours.
I don't give a fuck. I'll stay up. I got like 2 cans of Red Bull I've had sitting around for like 9 months because I don't really drink energy drinks, and I need that would be an awesome time to pull one of those puppies out.
I'm still trying to get the week off for MK11. It hasn't been confirmed yet.
I have it off, and I'm excited.
I have it off, and Northwest Majors is that weekend, so I'll be able
cool.
to attend that, which is cool. And then like 4 days of training uninterrupted, so that'll be
Yeah,
great.
that's what I was
Aaron
like.
Black?
Aaron Black. So
We keep,
we keep.
talk about it
God, we're so old. He's definitely the coolest one.
Aaron's in the back.
He's one of the ones that we got a really nice, all things considered. You know, the quality of the images or whatever, but we actually got the full 3D render.
Yeah, with his mask and shit. I think he is definitely the coolest new character that they introduced in the last game.
Yeah.
Him and Kotal, like, I mean, I like the characters they brought from the outside of Jackie, like, you know, like Cassie, Kotal, Devora, and Aaron. I think they picked the best of the new characters that they could.
The MKX characters, yeah.
Yeah, to bring over, because, I mean, they are kind of important to the story mode.
Kotal looks awesome. Kotal Khan looks so good. Like, he's on my short list.
I want to see, like, it would be interesting to see him go back. I wish Shao Kahn was in the story mode, like, because you know, historically they don't do story mode characters as
Yeah.
pre-order DLC.
But they kind of hinted that he might be, like when people were asking, what's his name, one of the developers that was doing the interview circuits at the London reveal, and they brought up that point specifically, and he really kind of tiptoed around it and basically just said you're assuming that you know how we're rolling out the game, so
Right.
they might be changing that this time.
They have been doing things a little bit differently lately, so I don't know. Aaron Black, though, gameplay wise, I think he'll keep his caltrops.
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
think that's an integral part of him.
One of his main moves definitely will keep the guns. Whether they keep the guns as a variation
You
or
gotta
not,
keep the guns.
it'll be the pistols, I bet. Well, I bet he'll have an ability to get the rifle or something like that at the expense.
Like
of
variation, yeah.
Any
Or the
id-
sword as well.
any idea what his role in story mode will be? Since he doesn't seem to have a big to the timeline.
No, because they didn't do
In the-
much with them in Mortal Kombat X. So we talk
I was
about
saying
like
his storyline, didn't he ambush the combat kids at one point? And his
that was
ending?
in his ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. Endings aren't true canon until they're confirmed to be like.
True, but they
By
probably
the
could have
way,
taken. They might do something like that, like he.
They didn't do shit with him in the story mode though. He was like just another
Yeah,
jobber,
he was-
just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Like we talk about, core roster are for people that have places in the story, but I feel like they kind of have that pre-decided who they want in the core roster, and so they're forced to find a place for them in the story somehow, which is how we end up with the Jackie Briggs, and Aaron Black and Ferritor and all these other severely undeveloped characters that just get shoehorned in for like a chapter. And then you have these really fleshed out, like Scorpion probably had the best story arc in all of MKX
Oh yeah.
story mode.
Yeah, I liked how they went back to the Hanzo Hasashi Scorpion too. I thought that was really cool.
What?
You cut out, sir.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, you cut out.
Sorry,
You like how they-
I like how they went they brought the Hanzo Hasashi skin for Scorpion.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It was cool to play as him before he was Scorpion.
Yeah, his whole chapter leading up to them going to the refugee camp and all of that stuff, right? And kind of overthrowing all of that and up until the point that he killed Quan Chi and all of that stuff. And the voice acting, I'm bummed that they replaced that voice actor. He was really good.
Did they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Who knows how this new guy's going to be or whatever, but this guy was good.
So I guess we should probably get close to ending it here because we're about an hour. So let's end it with top 5 characters you're most hype about. I might need a minute to think about it personally myself. I've been looking at the roster for the last 20 minutes or so, but who wants to go first? Do either of you guys know? Do you guys have an idea?
I think I can make a small list here.
Okay, let's do it.
Cassie and Jade for sure. Johnny Cage because that fatality is dope. So that's 3. Scarlet just looks like she's gonna be fun to play. And last one I might go either to Aaron Black or Frost because I'm excited to see Frost come back. And I'm glad to see Aaron Black come back because out of the newer characters, I think he really stuck out the most in it for the new MKX characters. So,
Yeah, that's a good list.
That's a good list.
What about you there, Hater? Do you have any idea?
Scarlet, I feel like is kind of my failsafe. I've seen enough of her that I know that I am going to be playing her in at least some capacity, but I have a history in all games, period. Pretty much that I never end up playing the character that I start with.
Right.
So I'm trying to be smart about this. So I feel like I'm going to end up with Scarlet. I have so my 1 and 2 are probably interchangeable between Frost and Scarlet. I'll probably start Frost while I'm filling out the game, learning about the mechanics and movement and stuff like that. And once I feel comfortable with that, well, I guess I'll probably be playing Scarlet in the beta and stuff like that too. But so they are definitely my number 1 and number 2. Kotal Khan, if he's got some, I played Sun God, so as long as he's got, I want a mid command grab. I would actually really like to see the way that Sun God had the charges. So we had the levels for the grabs, right? But you could do a special move to expend those charges to get meter back.
Right.
And then even meter burn that to get health back instead. And I think that would be really cool if he's building up those charges and it gives him, the equivalent of getting meter back would be just reducing the timer on the cooldown for his, takes like 5 seconds off or something like that, or some sort of mechanic like that. I could see them giving to him. So that's 3. Both of the other new characters. So Collector, I'll definitely investigate. I'm not super stoked on him. Cetrion, though, I like the ladies. I'll definitely be looking into her.
Right.
So for including both of those, I would say, so that's, what, 4? My fifth, I mean, how can I not try Noob Saibot? I have a feeling Noob's going to be everywhere, though. Everyone's going to be playing him. And it's
absolutely.
Going to be... I'm the kind of person that is not like... It's not like, oh, this is popular, I can't play it. I'm just going to be tired of, seeing him. And I'm probably going to be so annoyed fighting against him. Depending on what kind of moves and stuff they get him, but I'm definitely interested. Like, his aesthetic definitely suits me.
I like
so
that.
That would probably be my top 5.
I guess it's my turn now, isn't it? So I guess going from least excited about to most excited about, I'd probably start with Cabal. Just because we get to see Cabal, young Cabal, I'm curious, I'm more curious about the lore of the character, and I'm excited to see that, and what he was like, and how he fits into the MK9 story mode and stuff like that, because they haven't reconned that where he gets burned up by Kentaro, right? It'd be interesting to see that, because if he has the mask on, then he's been burnt up already, but so that has to play somewhere into the storyline, right? So it'll be interesting kind of to see how they jump around that as a character. After that would probably be Raiden, because this is his first game where it's kind of highly insinuated that he's the main villain. And just seeing we already have an idea of why he's the villain and what he's trying to do. So it'll be really interesting to see. Plus his he looks like he's actually going to be a pretty decent zoner. From
his moves look really cool.
Yeah, I like
the way they redesigned him. I'm a big fan.
I really like it, using his staff and stuff like that. It's really cool to me. So I played him for a little bit at the beta, and he was really fun, and he definitely felt kind of more of a zoner than anything. So I'll be interested.
I've never been a huge Raiden fan, but goddamn, he looks good in 11.
They did him
he's
right.
Tall. He's 7 feet tall in this too.
Hey, he's taller than
of a god. Finally,
he's a tall boy.
Yeah, he's just not the same size as everybody else, which is weird, right?
Yeah. The hat adds 2 feet.
You may or may not be wrong. I'll have to go back and look at that. After that, I'd say Frost, just because that's a character that's really technically only appeared in 1 game ever. I mean, Armageddon doesn't really count because they brought everybody back.
Oh, I thought you were trying to forget the game existed.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, what changes they make with her.
Wasn't Frost in, what was her first game?
Deadly Alliance.
Deadly Alliance. So wasn't she in Deception?
I don't believe so. Don't think she was in Deception. You're making me want to Google this now, but I'm pretty sure she wasn't in Deception. But sure, that would be great. Fact check me, because I don't want to be spreading misinformation. Heaven forbid.
That happens a lot. Usually with time zones, but.
Number 2, I'd say, surprisingly enough to even myself, because I did not expect this, is the Collector. I really like, even though all I've seen is this tiny little picture of him, there's something about it that just intrigues me. The way that he's, the expression on his face, that hood that he's got.
His nose, right? How it's always got this very large upper lip and this small kind of,
yeah. There's just
or...
something about it that just, I
don't
know.
I've really ever done a character like that.
Yeah, it's very unique, and it intrigues me. And I don't think I've ever gone into a Mortal Kombat game maining a new character. It's just never happened to me. So this could be the one time that I think I'm going to try him out for, give him a good solid try. And plus, for, Northwest Majors is coming up 4 days after the event, here I am playing a character that's never been in a game before. So you don't have that kind of legacy of what to expect, kind of. Even though, you know, there are things in that obviously are going to be changed and whatnot, but like from playing Baraka in the release, I immediately just went to things that he did in MK9, and it's quite similar with the
spark and
the spark, like the blade charge, chop. His back 3 was a low in MK9, it's a low in Mortal Kombat 11, at least as of that build. Which brings me to my number 1, which is Baraka. He's always been my favorite Mortal Kombat character. There's just something inherently manly and animalistic about this guy that I just love for some reason. Yeah, and I mean, I've obviously associated more with Quan Chi than Baraka, but I mean, I've told the story 1,000 times. Baraka was who I tried to main in MK9 until they nerfed him like 4 times, and he wasn't in MKX. So that being,
Baraka father just doesn't roll off the tongue.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So what's your game plan on release day? Who are you going to try? Are you going to go just balls deep into Baraka, or are you going to dabble with some of your other interests and then just kind of move on if they don't?
Well, I think
catch any, if you don't get any traction with them.
Because I got to play the game for 40 minutes. I basically just played Baraka and Raiden. I played Garrus once, and his gameplay, it's not me. I don't play that kind of character. So I'm not really interested in that.
I feel that.
So I think I'm going to start with like Baraka and the Collector for the start. But so I'm going to stream the story mode the day of release, 9 p.m. here until however long it takes me to finish it. Usually it doesn't take me more than 4 to 5 hours to finish story mode, so hopefully I get to bed at a decent time. Then the next day, I'm going to spend the majority of the day doing combo tutorials, and I think that will help me with kind of figuring out how each character works a little bit more. And, you know, in addition to making content, also, you know, go through the character's moves list, look at their frame data briefly.
Some day 1 B&Bs.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, just simultaneously get some content out there, and also kind of be informed with the character's moveset and stuff like that. And then after that, it's going to be grind time. And I think I'm going to commit to Baraka and the Collector for at least the first week. And I think within like a day or so of hard grinding of both of those, I should be able to kind of figure out which one's better or which one suits my my playstyle better, and I'll just kind of go from there. After that, I have no idea. If someone's inherently broken or something like that, or someone finds some infinites or some shit, I don't know if that'll change things, but who knows? I'm trying to think of it like as a fan, but also like competitively, because like Injustice 2, I competed a little bit, but like I didn't have that drive, like that passion for the game that I have for Mortal Kombat. So it was hard for me to really get into it at the same way. But I just love competing in general, so I just went for it. But with Mortal Kombat, I'm definitely invested in the series as a player. So I want to come back and compete the way that I did for MKX. So I'm being very careful about my approach. If that, hopefully I didn't ramble that too much and not make much sense.
No, that makes sense. I was gonna say, like, for especially your videos for your kind of like day 1 combos and things like that, we're gonna have a wide variety in the Discord and stuff.
Yeah.
To recruit some people to provide that stuff for you, so you're not just left scrambling and researching that, and you can like really focus on to do what you need to do, and Mason can give you some stuff for whoever he's playing. And
I thought about making like different Discord channels for each character, but I worry that might make things convoluted a little bit.
I don't think so. I see that in a lot of Discords, actually.
Yeah, and then that way, like when I'm making my combo videos, like I sit down, I'm gonna do Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Raiden right off the bat. Like those are the 3 that like everyone's gonna be searching for. I just gotta get them done, get them out there. Yeah, so it'd be nice if I could like go into the Discord and like just click the Scorpion tag and just like, okay, here's a couple B&Bs, you know, that seem to work. You know, let's do that. And then next character, click on that, let's do that. Because like before, I had to go like for Injustice 2, for example, like I knew Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Supergirl from playing them already.
Nani?
Right? So it's like, okay, well that was easy. But then like I went to do like Robin and Wonder Woman, and I was like, I had to go to Test Your Might. I had to go, you know, to different chats, Facebook, Twitter, like had to go all over the place just to find like 2 combos that I could A, execute quickly so I can get the video out, and B, that actually made sense to do. So having it,
I know Mason helped you out with the Robin one.
Yeah, I remember that he was hipster Robin. I don't know why he went with Robin off the bat. He almost dropped that game actually, and then I was like, "You played Kung Jin and MKX. Find a character with a dive kick, Brainiac. There you go." And then he just fell in love with Brainiac, and I was like, "God."
And now he's like one of the best Brainiacs.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, whoever has a dive kick in MK11, there you go.
Oh, he should play dive kick.
Sonya has a version of hers or whatever. I don't think anyone's gonna have that much crazy. I know that he said that he was interested in Cabal with the ability where he had almost like the air dash sort of thing.
Right.
I don't think it's dive kick so much as just kind of like air control that comes with those, being able to control that space. I think that's what he's going to be looking for in a character. Not to speak for him, but that's just kind of what I've deduced from what I've kind of spoken to him about and stuff like that. So I think that once he saw that little gas blast, that air sort of, that air dash that Cabal had as one of his abilities, whatever variation that ends up with is, I bet that's who he'll start with.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, he does like his mobility, so.
He wants to jump, man. He wants to be in the air, and he wants to be able to get away with it. So it's smart.
That air control, man. That air control. That being said, I don't think there's much left to talk about, is there? I've had Jackie's character concept art on the screen, by the way, for the last little while, just because I knew we were talking about it, so people could.
Oh yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like the second page of it. Like, holy crap, is that stuff different?
Devora has some really cool stuff too that I wish they would have done. Like, she's got some cool hairstyles, almost like punk rock, like old '80s skater sort of thing with like the half-shaved head, and it just kind of all combed over to the other side. I think it looks way cool.
That's interesting.
Going back to the Frost thing, I looked it up. So she was not playable in Deception, but they made a port for the PSP called Unchained, where she was a playable character.
That's
right. I believe, I think Serena was in that too.
Deadly Alliance.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah.
So we're both right.
Everybody's right. Everybody wins. Participation ribbons. Yay.
Yeah, participation ribbons.
I hope they hash out that character. She's been kind of like an edgelord, like very one-dimensional, just kind of like I can't control my thirst for power sort of thing, and she hasn't been particularly like her aesthetic. The idea of her I like a lot, but they haven't executed her very well in the past.
It's like the only thing to her character is that she uses ice, but she's a hothead. Whoa.
Right. Like,
contrast.
I'm just kind of. Yeah, I
even
think
in the
do something really good with her.
Even in the Armageddon story mode, like you just wake her up from like this coma or some shit, and she freaks out like Sub-Zero, I will blah blah blah.
She sees everybody as Sub-Zero, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like she's got like some traumatic shit going on she needs to get over. So maybe this game like will go back in the past and kind of explain why that all happened.
And I'm gonna put Melina on my list too if she's not dumb as shit.
I don't blame you. All right, I'm going to stop the recording for the Patreon because we've got another hour here. Thanks you guys for listening, for whoever tuned into the Patreon one. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you.
Appreciate ya.
See you in the chat sometime soon. Love, peace, and chicken grease.
Love, peace, and chicken.